Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 31 of Burning Crowns, the Burning Wheel role-playing game. I'm Eric, your host and Gamemaster. And that's enough about me. Let's go around. AP, what's up?
I'm trying a new lighting setting. I don't like it. Part of my face is more lit than the other, but I'm always lit.
It's not as bad as the first couple episodes. They had that Game of Thrones. One side of your face was completely in shadow.
That was a dark time. Speaking of dark times, spent my week battling people I once respected on the internet, recovering from deep intrigue on my own server, and starting a game of diplomacy in my community. So I expect that I won't be streaming in 2 to 3 weeks once I've completely ruined my entire life all by my own volition.
Yeah, those were really gutsy plays. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Solid.
I'm playing my life like a Burning Wheel character and playing my Burning Wheel character like a reasonable adult.
Yeah.
It's so weird. How about you, Eric? What do you have going on? Didn't you watch Dunkirk last night?
No, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that
Driver
way. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way.
Actually, no. I actually do need to know about Baby Driver. I don't know shit about it, but everyone keeps talking about it, and I don't want to get King Arthur'd by you again.
King Arthur is really good, though. King Arthur was a great movie.
No, King Arthur is a fucking awful movie. You need to accept that a 27% rating is what the community feels King Arthur is worth.
Well, I don't care what a community says.
I know.
I know what I like, and it's a Guy Ritchie movie
like.
set in a medieval world. Like that's good for me.
Tell me about Baby Driver.
Baby Driver is like okay. It's basically a heist movie, like as you know and love. That's based on if someone looked at all of the concept art or like the album art for Lana Del Rey and was like, I'm gonna make a heist movie about this, and that's exactly what it is.
I have heard the romantic arc in that movie it has the appeal and personality of Asphalt.
I think that this conversation would be a lot easier to follow if I knew who Lana Del Rey was. I'm gonna have to pass
if you
on.
just Google it, she's a singer and she has a very like faux 50s aesthetic or like faux 70s aesthetic,
Okay.
Like retro Americana thing, and that's a very very strong part of Baby Driver. But that's not what I saw last night. I saw Dunkirk. Dunkirk, frankly, was really 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 intense, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I have to see it again. That movie was so like. I'm chewing my nails right now because I don't know what's going to happen, and it's very loud and scary, and it's just like so. You know, it gives you that fight or flight response, and it's just really hard to like retain details and being like, "What's going on? Like, was this actually good?" Right? It made me feel this thing. It made me feel extremely tense, which is like I expect what a major goal of the movie is, right? Like that it achieved at that. But by feeling that, I feel like I shut down the other parts of my brain, or like, I really like how they did this thing and this thing together and how it told this story. You know what I mean? Like I can't do that when I'm like, you know, like I can't focus on that stuff. So I have to see it again.
Do you feel like it was a case of like sensory overload to be like that you felt like bombarded by the cinema experience, or was it, in your opinion, like more tied to the action on screen that you were like, it was, shit, I can't like.
It was tied to the action on screen. Like it was intentionally like, oh my god, what's going to happen? This is crazy.
Sounds sweet
and tense. Yeah, exactly. Like if that was the goal of Christopher Nolan, like as like exclusively, there's really really good. But like I couldn't tell you whether or not that movie was like actually like his best movie or not, as some people were saying. I feel like I have to watch it again just to get a better idea. And I think that it's probably not. I think the first view of being like, oh my god, that was so good kind of thing, and if you went back and rewatch it and you're like, okay. I mean, yeah, that's a movie, right? I feel like it's one of those situations, but I'm kind of cynical, so. But enough about that. We're not here to talk about. We're not playing burning movies.
Based on your review of Baby Driver, I'm gonna watch Valerian instead and pass my remaining time on to the next gentleman.
Yeah. Okay, Sam, the Wizened Fool.
Hello. Not much has really changed for me over the last week, to be honest. I've just been I've been losing a lot in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I am not good at that game.
Me too.
Like really not. Yesterday I dropped in at the school, immediately started getting shot, panicked, ran, jumped off the building, hit the ground and died. I just was like, all right, I gotta quit the game. I can't play this.
And we're done. Yeah.
Oh man, so that was good.
Yeah. The game's really hard. It's really
But
hard.
it's pretty fun. Like when you it depends. I feel like I either die immediately or make it to the top 10. And then those moments where I'm like at the top 10, I'm just like, oh God, I can do it. I can do it. And then I just choke. I just choke immediately.
I just can't ever seem. It just never really makes sense for me when I'm shooting people why they don't die. I'm just like, okay, I guess it just the desync stuff is a big problem for me. You know, like I feel like there's an advantage to be the aggressor in that game because the servers are bad, and so if you can push somebody, you'll see them before they can like see you essentially, and you can anticipate that, and like, you know, you have that like split-second network delay that you can fire off that extra shot that gives you that advantage, and I think that's an actual thing. Like you have to worry about.
Could be,
but
yeah. Other than that, Sundays have very quickly turned into the best day of my week because I wake up late, I eat something, I play this game, and then I go watch Game of Thrones. So it's like pretty solid.
Oh, I need to do that. I need to. Ooh. I forgot Game of Thrones came out.
That's it for Burning Crowns, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. God.
Wait till the season's over. Get 1 month of HBO Go.
See, I just hack into my parents' account, so I don't pay for that.
Do you inject Python code into the server?
And Mason.
So
Daniel
everyone.
/Neary.
Yeah.
I call people by their Twitter handles and then their names, and then I don't know. I should probably come up with something consistent. Daniel.
Yeah, hi Eric. So what have I been doing? Ladies and gentlemen, opposed to these other savages that have been speaking so far, I have been spending my glorious time being very cultured and doing all sorts of really like snooty stuff, which is not true at all. I was on a minor vacation in southern Jutland, which for those of you with access to a world map, you cannot identify because Denmark is small enough as is, and southern Jutland doesn't mean anything geographically speaking. But yeah, I was down there. It was a pretty interesting trip. Looking around, like just basically like places of interest in my own country that I've never been to. The highlight of which was definitely visiting a culturally rich town we have in the south called Ribe. That has like a lot of
Liebe?
Ribe, R-I-B-E.
Oh.
And it has like a lot of old buildings that have like been kept in good order, like well maintained, and it has this like very old.
Hold on.
Go on.
When you say so to us simple-minded Americans, what do you mean when you say old buildings?
I mean like 1600, 1700 thereabout, like kept in that kind of sort of style. It also got like newer buildings, of course, and it's still like functionally speaking a town. So
like things not destroyed in the 30 Years' War.
Yeah, but it also has like a bunch of like it's very religiously oriented in terms of buildings. Like there are a bunch of chapels and churches and stuff. It was basically like an old Viking trade settlement, I think, that was then like incorporated into Christianity and so on. And then so on. But it has like the centerpiece, the crown thing of what I saw down there was the cathedral. It has like a Ribe Cathedral. Is first of all like a big ass awesome church. But I saw two things. I had like two experiences down there that were great. One of them was seeing the single best coat of arms I have ever seen in my entire life. So the crypts are just built into the floors. They're just like slabs of stone that are like ornately carved. That means that down here, X amount of people are buried. And one of them, just inside the entrance, was it had like a border that had hourglasses and skulls on it. You know, like the classic Memento Mori thing. Mm-hmm. But then the coat of arms imprinted on the stone slab was an escutcheon, like the shield, classic shield, with a Tudor-esque rose on it, like a Lancaster York thing, War of the Rose thing going on, with a bunch of thorns sticking out of it. And then the helmet on top, and the crest of the helm was the greatest thing I've seen in my life. The crest of the helm was just two bare arms, like two naked human arms, just sticking out of his head and holding on to like two separate flowers. Yeah. So the crest of this great helm was just 2 arms going like out of the top of his head and holding on to 2 flowers. It was the greatest coat of arms I have ever seen. I laughed my ass off, and it gave a monstrous echo because it was a fucking church, but I couldn't stop.
Wow,
that's the one great thing I saw down there. Then I also went up the belfry, which was hella awesome. You could just walk up there, just walk up through the tower. And at some point, there was this loud clicking noise, and I was like, I wonder what that is. And then I looked to my side, and there's this giant pendulum swinging next to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. There's a fucking church clock here.
Oh, God.
And just as I have that thought, the entire fucking tower shakes, and dust is kicked up because it's 12 o'clock. And the fucking bell that is 1 floor above me is just going, bong! And I'm like, oh fuck, what is this even?
Wow.
Yeah, it was so awesome. That was the highlight of my vacation. Other than that, nothing.
Okay, that's a pretty sweet vacation. I can't get over just how much in Europe is decorated via places of death.
Yeah, it's the cornerstone of Christianity, essentially. Remember you're immortal and God is not, so you be good or he will fuck you up when you die.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very, very good point. I remember I went to the Czech Republic one time, and above Prague, there's this little tiny town, and there's a whole place made out of bones. They have a bone chandelier. It's not a mausoleum. It's an ossuary, right? Is that the word? Ossuary?
I think that's the right one. Yep.
One of those. Literally 30,000 bones are in here. And if you look around it, they're all organized in giant pyramids of skulls, and there's just everything's decorated with bones. Outside, it's the most metal place I've ever been in my entire life. Yeah, an ossuary.
Do yourself
I can't get over this. So the reason why this place was so super important is because some random ass noble came back from Jerusalem with a bunch of holy dirt, right? And I was like, pour it on me when I die. And I was like, okay. And then everyone's like, he's close to Jerusalem dirt. Let's get buried near him. And so all these people just started that's where I want to die. As close to this as possible.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden there's this place. It's just you're playing Tetris, putting all these bodies here. And then of course the 30 Years War happens later on, and all of a sudden they have a cajillion and 1 bodies. And they're like, what are we gonna do with all these bodies? And they're like, well, I mean, I like stacking things. And so then this thing came out of it, I think.
Stacking's cool.
Well, sanctifying things is hugely important in the Catholic faith. The one I used to live in a town called Aalborg, and the one Catholic church in the town has a sanctified parking lot. There's a little story behind why it has a sanctified fucking parking lot.
It's because paradise.
When they initially, no, Eric, but good try. No, when they initially zoned the area. As is the case with all Catholic churches, whenever someone wants to build a Catholic church, there will come an emissary from the Vatican and sanctify the area. It's going to happen before the church is built. That's always the case.
Consecrate, right?
Yeah. Consecration is what it's called, yeah. And there was a misunderstanding with the zoning department, so he consecrated the ground next to where the church was constructed. And then they built the church, and then they figured it out, and they were like, shit, this is a problem. So they quickly reconsecrated the actual church, but now the parking lot next to the church is also holy ground. So, yeah, pretty important, very ritualistic, that religion. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're playing Burning Wheel, so we're going to do that stuff. Can we go ahead and do a quick little, hey, what are our beliefs this week?
Sure.
So let's start again from AP.
Yes, of course. That thing that we do.
Yeah, there's a beliefs document I linked in chat for everyone hanging out. Zonalar, who apparently Zonalar also, by the way, awesome is awesome at PUBG apparently. That's good to know. So I just want to shout out to you and your skills. Tell us.
All right.
Okay.
According to this, my first belief is expansion and acquisition is the heart of civilization. Once the building of the capital Karasuna has begun, I will invite important business, political, and noble leaders on pleasure retreats. Clearing the way and purchasing property inside Mivin is the next step for the complete takeover of their government. I have my enemies outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. They're going to make an all-out stand, and I'm going to need a right-hand man. I will draw to me a general who is eloquent and eloquent. Blabba-doo-bop. Man, that's really hard to say. Elegant and eloquent with no embellishment to maintain my armies. And this is why I don't sing in verse. Surviving is not living, and creating a city is not a country. Something must unify my people, a rallying cry to march towards, and a culture of excellence to maintain after my death. Magic is more than just a single sorcerer, and knowledge is more than a single advisor. I will see whom the bard millions has brought to me, and convince this person to gather and shape the young gifted as I choose. I am responsible to the people. That's what I got for you, Eric. What do you have?
I'm surprised you didn't go with I'm the very model of a modern major general.
I'm not the very
vegetable,
model
animal,
of a
or mineral.
I'm not, though. I'm not.
I know, but I thought you were I'm looking for the very model. Well, I figured you would write a belief.
I don't want the model of a modern.
You didn't let me down at all. I want to know that, but like,
I want someone who knows what reverie is, right?
But I mean, Pirates of Penzance.
I understand that, but I don't want a modern major general. I want an actual major general.
Yeah, but
what's really the shame here? What the real shame here is that you got a bunch of ships, and at no point have you been the greatest captain of the Queen's Navy, and the record will say it's true. I
have never been a member of the Queen's Navy. I'm a member of my own Navy. I'm an admiral. Can you work with me here, guys? Like, if we're gonna make show tunes references, I feel like they have to be relevant to the world.
Is it a Navy that's never fought in anything?
Yes. Yeah. You can have a Navy that's never fought.
Debatable.
Ask Luxembourg.
All right. What's your third and fourth belief?
Oh, I dropped my third and fourth beliefs.
I know, but I was so busy looking at the Pirates of Penzance that I didn't hear it.
That's fine, Eric. They're the exact same as they have been every week.
Oh, surviving is not living, creating cities
on
out of
your
country.
Character sheet, Eric?
My agenda is to make the world come to life and kill you all. No.
Fair.
Surviving is not living, creating a city is not a country. Something must unify my people, a rallying cry. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's about convincing you're bringing all the potential magicians to you.
That's the belief about getting a bunch of younglings for Mason to murder in 5 to 10 episodes.
You're a monster.
That's what that belief is.
I'm pretty sure that's right. That sounds accurate.
That's not even close to correct.
See, you say it's not close to correct, but all right. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. So, my first belief is only the strong wall shelters humanity from the storm. The 6th book speaks vaguely of tools of power resurfacing, weapons capable of destroying the evil to come. If any place remaining holds the knowledge of these things, it would be this ancient tower. That refers to the tower that's shooting.
Skywatch. Yeah, Skywatch.
Second belief is the same. My brother is a proud man, sometimes to a fault. I've not forgotten the service rendered by Mason. I shall ensure they receive their just boons and make it known that I still believe they are needed in what is to come. Belief 3. It seems clear to me that more of the untouchables beyond the healed can be brought into the Lord's light. I will endeavor to convince them that they have a place amongst the faithful, not one of ostracization, but of welcome. And my zealot belief is, at the dawn of time, Abadar laid forth the holy codex of laws and traditions that would govern the heavenly kingdoms for all eternity. We must follow the great reformers who glimpsed the edges of the lawmaker's holy order to perfect our wanting civilization. I have been given a holy charter by Abadar. Word of this quest must be recorded, and new scripture must be drafted.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Sweet.
And
All
our
right.
mage.
Yes, hello everyone. So Mason's beliefs are the same as they have been the last couple of times, but let's just go through them. For a worthy ruler to sit on the dragon scale throne, I must discover the secret of the vanishing. I will uncover the identity of the conspirator whose involvement had been torn from the pages of Coral's Confidant's Chronicle. There is yet enough fire in the hearts of men to steer a course over dark seas. Answers wait in the valley of fire. I will uncover them. And as the last member of the Nethesian I stand responsible where they no longer can. I will understand the powers wrought on Candlemere and bring it under my control. Which, actually, since Candlemere is so very far away, I shall change this belief for the moment.
For the moment.
Yeah, I will still stand responsible where they no longer can, but instead... it shall be, I stand responsible where they no longer can. Skywatch is ancient and holds many powers of yore. As the scion of the Nethesian I will assume control of it.
Good work with the whole setting your beliefs on Saturday so that Eric can prepare.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just messed around.
Right.
I didn't intend to, but I just realized what my plan was, and so yeah, it's more appropriate.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think we're gonna start back in the tower. Right? We're gonna start back in the back tower with Sulius and Mason, having just recently escaped with their lives against some lightning. Crackling red laser lightning that was bursting up like a heist movie alarm system that's like going up. All right, so you guys are in this huge long stone archway. There's no good directions of where you are other than like you're basically just in a T intersection. So I want to know what you guys are planning to do here. Also, with you is Sir Zydomir, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's like panting after just narrowly missing that lightning.
Yeah,
it was quite a run.
Ran up a flight of stairs in 5 dice of plate mail. It's not fun.
Yep. So yeah, I think as far as Mason is concerned, right, like there is like fading in on the situation is basically Mason gasping for air, like catching their breath after running, and like holding their sides, like oh shit. Well, that was close. Let's hope the security doesn't get worse the higher up we go. And I like look to Zydomir and I'm like, oh shit, he's not doing well. And I just like kind of stuff a wineskin in his gob and I'm like, here, fucking drink something. Like, chill, don't die.
Yeah, I think Zydomir has like he's got like his helmet like pulled off. He's just like covered in sweat, and he's just like doesn't even check what it is in the wineskin. Just starts drinking it.
The sounds of the tower, the long bellows of the horn of didn't I describe it as like the Hammerant horn from Helm's Deep? Yeah.
The
it's like
ambient noise of this place is like the stone roaring.
Yeah, like it belongs in the trailer to like Inception, like whoa, you know what I mean? It's got that huge loud echoing thing.
Yes.
Everyone like watching this movie thinks that it is just the background theme, not realizing it's actually incidental music, right? Like we can hear the shit too. It's not the trailer. All right, so yeah, I look to Aurelius to make sure everything is as it should be. As I happen to believe you didn't get injured. I guess I just like exchange a look with you and I ask, are you okay?
He's like catching his breath a little bit. And he probably just like gives you a thumbs up. I mean, he's no less okay than any other massively out of shape man who just ran up a flight of stairs. So.
All right. Well, in that case, let's just keep going. So I would like to continue to like chase my belief here. I would like to continue to look for the information I'm here in the tower searching for. Now, admittedly, I'm here for a lot of stuff, but chiefly, most importantly, is the first belief, right? It's about finding out about the vanishing. So that is what I would like to do here. And the way I would like to do that, to give you a task, is to investigate the fucking tower until I find it.
Yeah, so it's like basically rummaging through the halls, looking for something, trying to avoid anything possible.
Yeah,
that's perfect, right?
If there's a stone slab on the wall being like, welcome to the library, like for ancient knowledge about this thing, go here, then sure, I will use that. But like in the absence of that, I'm just gonna search.
No, let's we can see, this is the best part about burning wheels, that you can just like snap your fingers and be like, you can make this all one test, or instead of a series of things and breaking it down. And because of this, I think this could be just one test. And I think the big part here, in order to find these secrets, would be...
So, before you say any more, I would like to like kind of give myself like a cushy landing here and say, I would love to also make this one test. However, we understand here that if you're like, yeah, sure, you can do this. This is an op-8 test. I might then tell you, like, can we break this down into smaller tasks with smaller obstacles? Like, just can we then do that? Like, you know, the classic kill the wizard in his dark tower scenario, right?
Okay. Frankly, what I think this skill is, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, I think this is a very difficult scavenging test.
I was going to say research because it's specifically looking for knowledge in a library, but I could see both.
Well, the problem is that, like, you don't have the tools that would help you in a library and a research don't really pertain here, because the stuff is stored in a way that just doesn't make any sense to you because you're not a Cyclops.
So can I ask a question?
So it's more like you just like are scrummaging around for something that can help you.
Yeah. Does Mason look like they're just sort of like wandering around aimlessly trying to find things, or do they look like they know what they're doing here?
So that depends on the flavor of what we're doing here, because Eric, you bring up a good point, right? Like, that's a good point. What kind of test we're making. But my question then is, when we decide what kind of test this is, it should reflect what the conflict is. Yeah. If we can just simply look up stuff, then it's of course like the conflict is in research. Yeah. If there is a problem with the internal security, or like having to get through whatever labyrinthian construct this is, then that test is probably not scavenging. That's probably not scavenging, because like scavenging doesn't relate to your ability to like navigate an old labyrinth, or like solve complex puzzles, or dodge out of the way of giant stone constructs trying to murder you.
The consequence of scavenging is that you could come across something that's trying to prevent you from scavenging.
Oh, that's an interesting call.
Like, the consequence to scavenging could be that a trap triggers, or the whatever other guardians show up. Right, like
I think
so.
That's
like in your process, like I imagine scavenging is literally like the same thing as almost like scouting for something, that you're looking for something, or like it's almost like, I was thinking this might be observation, but you're like, because you're trying to find something that's hidden essentially.
Well, here's the thing,
but it's also not deliberately hiding from you. It's just that it's obfuscated, and so it's more about you rummaging around for this thing that you need.
Here's the thing, though. The reason I asked whether Mason seemed like they knew what they were doing here is because if they don't, I'm just going to ask God to help me instead of that. And be like, God, show me where the knowledge I seek is.
Yeah, no, I think what I would say is that because this place is so magical inside, I feel like it would be fair to say that for you, Mason, you feel not necessarily like lightheaded, but you do feel like you're in a very it's somewhat disorientating to you. It doesn't affect you in any way. It's just that you've never been in a place this sort of like magical before, and it makes you feel different than the way you normally do. It makes you feel a little like almost like weightless. Like it gives you a little sense, almost like a very, very minor sense of vertigo.
There's like a feeling of like a profound significance to the place that I interact with in a way I don't really know how to describe. So I think that also, to answer your question, Sam, that totally like informs that decision, right? You ask, what does Mason look like? And the answer to that is definitely like zoned out. Like they appear to like walk around clearly with a purpose, but also like it's a guy who's like a person who's found Atlantis after a life of searching, right? They're looking at everything with that kind of like gawking reverence.
Okay, in that case, I'm not going to do anything because like this is Aurelius definitely sees this as Mason's show, right? Like he's following them on their, that was always like, it's Mason's thing. He's just there to help. So unless like they like specifically look Like it's if they are walking around with what seems like a purpose, he's just kind of like follow and assume that you're just like concentrating, and that's why you're doing this.
All right.
So
For the test, Eric, I would say I would either support your call to scavenging because that's fun. I would also call it research because research is also navigating libraries. But you are the arbiter here. I will go with whatever call you think is appropriate.
well, here's what we're gonna say. You're just wandering around looking for this information, right?
Yeah,
That's how you fictionally describe what you're doing.
Yeah, so
That should inform us enough.
consider both my first and second belief here, right? I have a belief about finding the thing, but I also have a belief about gaining control of this tower. So I am walking around this place, basically keenly aware of my surroundings. Consider me, for the moment, not a Burning Wheel character, but a Dungeons and Dragons character in a dungeon, trying to survive and figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let's
let's just jump ahead then. I think let's just call this an OB3 research test. Let's do that.
Very well.
Okay. And obviously the consequences of the failure here are this tower continues to wake up.
Yeah, there's an obstacle
in your face. Right? Yes.
So while you're doing this, Aurelius will maybe offer help and also a question. So he's like sees you looking around and he's like, Mason, while you are looking, perhaps I can help. I believe there may be some information that would be helpful for myself as well.
Curious? I should gladly.
This is a place of ancient knowledge, and I seek ancient tools in order to aid what is to come. Perhaps we can help each other in this.
That seems fine to me. Now, of course, I say, like, looking at you with like a kind of like a glint in my eye, but still, like, you can tell, like, it's still Mason being serious, but they're being also kind of playful with you now because you're asking. Now, of course, you understand that knowledge of such things, I would have to insist to be involved in a very direct and authoritarian manner. This is, after all, what I do. The knowledge contained herein, I will absolutely help you find, but depending on what we find, after all, it might be my duty to intercede and to help you best use these things for the right purpose. And I'm like,
if you don't want to help me, that's fine, Mason. I will not allow you to claim ownership over divine relics. Period.
No, not divine relics. So be it. I will claim ownership over what I will, but I understand you. And I kind of like nudge you in the ribs, but it's very clear that Mason is being like kind of pretend playful here. They don't want to make this an argument, but they're also making it very clear that, like, I have a vested interest in the thing you're saying, and if this comes to be, we're gonna have a conversation about it, right? Like that's what they're saying.
Sure.
Makes sense.
In that case, so maybe when it comes to helping with this test, like, there aren't like really books, right? It's all these like stone tablets. So could I help with read? Like, are we reading stuff? Like, I'm wondering how I can help here.
So the hard parts here is that you don't know exactly where you have to go to basically decipher this stuff. You could help with figuring out a way to decipher these things. You can assist that way. Assisting with read doesn't seem to make that much sense here.
In that case, I would like to help with civilization-wise, because I have knowledge of the ancient Cyclopean civilization. Although it is obscure and barely at the edges of my knowledge, I have understanding of the way different civilizations built their buildings. And so I can sort of point down what I think might be the right hallways or the right entrances and exits.
That's a great help. I would totally help that. I'll allow it.
All right, I will take that. I will also, in terms of forks.
So that probably looks like being like, well, if this tower is like any other thing, then, like, you know, the part we need to get to is in the third, like the middle chamber or whatever.
We should definitely not. We should not turn right here because that's like a load-bearing section, and it's probably not there. And
it's a load-bearing book.
Cool. Absolutely a load-bearing book. I am going to work the. I'm going to use symbology for my forks here. By like looking at like things on the walls and being like, oh, the kraken signifies that this is not where we're supposed to go. I'm also going to fork obscure history because I might know where in this tower the thing I'm looking for is kept. Not necessarily like which room, but like which level, which general area. And I think that's it. I don't think I can fork anything else. I could fork astrology. I should fork astrology. I'm gonna fork astrology.
Works for me.
And I'll be working carefully. Like I'll take my time doing this. This is not a rush job.
I'm not going to allow you to.
All right.
Because of threats to you. You don't have time to work carefully. You're pressured.
All right. I'll take that.
Unless, hold on. Unless is there a better way of doing this by giving you that, but then I have to raise the obstacle?
I feel like that depends on the nature of the trouble here, right? Because one of my the
trouble would be like quote unquote wandering monster, right?
Yeah. Okay. In that case, then yeah, I would say
you can't take your time because this would happen, right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So like you get the die, but you raise the obstacle by 1 if you work patiently.
Yeah, I think I'll just go through it like at an interesting dramatic speed.
Okay.
So that's what I'll do. You said up 3?
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to sling some Arthur into this. I'm going to sling a whole 1 point of Arthur into this. And here we go. And of course, Yep.
Got it.
There we go. I am going to spend fate on that.
Nice. Okay, so
all right, look at that. All right, so I would like to ideally spend this margin of success on like generally speaking, not necessarily avoiding trouble, but like avoiding activating trouble, right? Come across a couple of traps, come across a couple of obstacles that I know how to get around, so that if a unforeseen complication should arise, I might be able to lure, for example, a wandering monster into a trap that I know how to avoid in the future.
Well, I think kind of what this would look like is that there are certain sections that are cordoned off by this lightning, right? And I think you're just figuring out ways to like bypass that. Like you're either taking alternate paths around, or you're finding alternate paths around through this maze of this tower. And,
no, this is me fictionally positioning myself so as that I can argue for a lower obstacle or advantage when I help Sam look for his thing, and when I do my third belief, which is trying to assume control of the tower. I am in a better position to do so because I navigated it so greatly.
I'm there. I'm there with you.
Yeah.
Curiously, though, in this tower, and I think this is like the big part of success, is that the structure and the architecture of the tower changes the closer you get to your goal.
Sweet.
It looks remarkably like the Dragon Scale Keep after a certain point.
Interesting.
In fact, it looks very reminiscent of the North Tower that you were in, Mason.
But it's just like in different scale.
Yeah. It has very, very, very strong Brevoyan, Brevanese. What's the word I was using before? I don't know. Anyways, very, very strong Rogarvian like heraldry around this place as well.
It's like a lot of historical symbology.
It's almost like this North Tower is preserved hundreds of years ago, like pre-vanishing feeling, right? Like it's like a museum exhibit set up to recreate what things look like.
Yeah,
it has that weird. This is a set place.
I feel like to Mason that makes all kinds of sense in like a kind of like a revelatory moment, because one of the conspirators was Yvanan the Red, who constructed the Ruby Keep.
Exactly.
And there was that whole talk of them being like in correspondence with someone in Skywatch, and Coral wanting to go here and speak to the denizens. And so that makes sense to me, right? Like that Yvanan the Red saw this place and was like, I'm gonna totally copy this shit in like a tower I'm gonna build in this keep later on.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah.
I'm imagining like Mason and Aurelius like putting their heads together and like pointing out like little things, and then like behind them, Zidomir is just like walking, just like trying to like make sure they don't notice that he's still catching his breath and is just like trying to stay out of the way.
Zidomir walking behind us is literally Homer Simpson here, right? Like, nerds! As we're like walking through the tower.
So your research though gives you your specific intention was looking for the conspirators involved for the pages of Coral's Chronicles, right? Like your first belief.
Exactly. It's to perfect. Get at my first belief.
That's perfect because then we see little bits of this north tower, right? And then we go around and then we cut over to a large desk, right? Well, there's no one there, but there's a candle still burning. There's a for dramatic purposes, there's like a journal, right? There's a sort of like a log here dating back to before the cataclysm, right? Before the disappearance.
Interesting. So just before we go into that, like how high up in the tower did we have to go for this? How long did we spend walking through the place? In my mind's eye, in my mind's eye, this place is enormous. It is a tower by the standards of giants.
Yes. So to me, it's also larger on the inside, right? Than it was. Like I mentioned that.
It's a TARDIS. Cool.
Yeah. It has. So I think part of that is that I don't know if time is necessarily relative to, you know what I mean? So like for you guys who have been here for hours, I'm not sure that's true outside of Skywatch. Right.
We come out, Swan is dead from old age. His empire sprawls half the planet.
Right. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. So I think the big thing here is that you find I guess you probably start looking at the last couple pages of this journal and how the remarks for this guy's researching annotations, you see his list of the books around as well on the table, sort of you see a lot of books about deals and a lot of books about contracts, about summonings.
A lot of it probably bears a kind of unsettling resemblance to that book I got from Hell.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's also, as well as a couple there's a celestial one. There's a couple other ones that you just don't know. It's
written in what is obviously ancient Elvish script, but that's as far as I get. Right? It's I can't read this. I know what it is, but it's like watching something written in Arabic where you're like, "Yep, I know what this is, but I have no clue what it says."
You're pretty sure one of them is bound in human skin.
Seems
that
normal.
kind of stuff.
It looks like whoever was researching in here was dabbling in similar powers to what got the Queen Regent into such trouble.
So, actually, I'm going to answer that in just a second. So while all of this has happened, you have definitely experienced a kind of different Mason that you're used to. Mason seems very in tune and very happy and very... very differently, different of personality when they're walking essentially alone, right? Having you there is interesting because you're a friend. Zidomir doesn't take up any space in their mind because he's just walking behind them, huffing and puffing. But yeah, there's a different vibe, Mason, as they're walking with by themselves than there is when they're surrounded by people. And as you say this, Mason looks up from the book that they're hyper immersed in and looks to you and says, "None of this is what got Natala in trouble. What got Natala in trouble was lack of understanding and a keen lack of respect for the craft." It's the same thing I'm trying to protect Swan from every fucking day, and he's making it really hard.
Perhaps we disagree. It seems to me the fault of a student tripping and sprawling off of the path is as much the teacher as it is the student. But we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, as you say that, I'm already waving my hand dismissively at you that's bullshit. Never mind that. And yeah, to just signify that let's agree to disagree.
So, this is kind of... So you're looking through that journal, right? And it becomes pretty clear that Yvarn in the Red is researching on the behalf of the Regarvians about a contract set to expire sometime, and in his point of view, sometime soon, namely the Vanishing, right? It's like doing quick napkin math. It's like this is right around the time of the Vanishing.
Yeah, maybe that's like part of how I help with civilization wise is just like knowing dates and times when like things. I'm like, oh, that has to correspond with X, Y, and Z.
Like, because like he's very specific about the time. It's like that we need to have an answer. Like we only have 50 years left, right?
Yeah, like he's being hyper specific all the time. Like,
yeah, like like you see the notes. Like we have 51 years left. This is like the stuff that happened, right? Like here's the things that we've learned. We only have 50 years left. Here's the things that are. This is what we have learned, right?
Yeah. This is the second hour of the day. So
yeah,
cool.
And you learn that Yvarnin the Red was unable to find the answer to his questions in this tower. He was unsuccessful, or not. I'm sorry, he wasn't unsuccessful at finding the answers. It's just that the answer that he found was very final and one that he cannot deal with.
Interesting.
Ultimately, he was looking for the secrets. So you see that he was pursuing whatever the Cyclops did to survive an apocalypse.
That's interesting.
He was researching. Yeah, exactly. He was trying to figure out what they were doing in order to save the Regarvians from this disappearance. Like it seemed like they knew that Yvarnin the Red knew that that the Regarvians were working on borrowed time, and they only had up until this amount of time for something, and they were desperately looking for an answer out of it.
And to get that answer, they collaborated with someone among the Cyclopeans.
The tower. He just says they consulted the tower.
All right, interesting. And then just to put this on you, so who is this hidden person then? Like, is that revealed in the text? I guess it should be. Like the
it's
guy
not a who. It's an it.
Oh, what is that then?
The tower.
The tower is the last conspirator who was stricken from the pages?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. So, okay, so there's a sentience to this place. Is that what's implied, or is it like...
Yeah. I think that's probably the easiest way of explaining it, is that there's a sentience to this place.
That's extremely cool and fascinating.
It's, like, so, to me, like, from, like, player, like, GM to player, it's that you can think of the tower as almost like a machine. It's actually it's a computer in a way.
Giant arcane AI.
Yeah. It's not intelligent. It just has route things that it knows, but it's a way of preserving what it's known.
Classic magic item. Cool.
Perfect. Right. We went straight from Galarian to Shannara. Nailed it.
Just whoop. Planescaping right there.
Fucking jump that shark-headed man. That's all
Single action casting. One there. Whoop. Plane shift. Okay, so extremely cool.
Yvarnin the Red's nowhere to be seen, by the way. Like, there's nothing in like marking. You haven't seen anything marking that there's anybody here.
No,
his notes mentioned like he had a bunch of researchers, like everyone was around, right? And nothing's here.
It makes sense to me because this is like 20 years ago, right? So.
Yeah. Like there's nothing, there's no existence of anybody or any caretakers. You know, like everything that you known about Skywatch mentioned that there were people here. Like this was not this was not a big deal. This is just like a library. All of this stuff when you went through those doors, this is just not what you were expecting at all. Okay, I don't think I made that clear enough starting off. This is just way different than anything happens, and you think it's something to do with the magic that sealed it.
So I'm sorry, like Sam, you feel free to fucking cut in at any point because I'm just gonna keep talking about the things Mason wants. But this information is very enlightening to them, right? It implies that the Regarvians had a deal and that like the time was running out. There's something there. They want to understand the significance of this, and they're gonna like cross-reference it with the information they have about the Regarvians secretly being dragons. They are going to. I want to push for Mason to either completely understand the mystery of the Vanishing, unlocking that thing, or get as far as possible doing it. Right, like it depends on the ob you're setting, or if it's even possible in this place to get that understanding. But my understanding so far has been like, I've been gaining a lot of understanding about the vanishing, and it's all kind of been leading to, well, the hurdle is Skywatch.
Yeah.
Now I'm here, so now is when I'm gonna aim to be like, can I succeed at this?
Yeah.
What needs doing?
So there are a couple other things that I need to add to as well, right? There's references to that. There's that Yvarnin has spoken to the Rogarvians, and that they have a plan in place if they're unable to find an answer.
What is that plan?
I don't know if he goes into specifics in this journal about that, right? Because this isn't written in a way of like, here's my master plans and here's all the other, you know what I mean? But yeah. I think to us, I think they mentioned that. I think he does. I think related to the other plan, looking through the books, all you know is that they have suitable children.
So I want to push back here. While I'm going through this stuff with Mason, I think gears are turning in Aurelius's mind, because he has a penchant for reading between the lines and seeing through people's words and writing what they actually want, what their actual goal is. So I would like to use ambition-wise here, if possible, to ascertain. I mean, it seems like they're trying to, it seems like the goal is something to do with the apocalypse that has been predicted a couple of different places. And I think, if possible, I'd like to use ambition-wise to see what they were actually doing about it. It's if that's appropriate.
Can you repeat what you said one more time?
Basically, while I'm going through this stuff with Mason, it seems like we're getting a lot of hows, but not a lot of whys.
Yes.
Would that be correct? I would like to use ambition-wise to find out some of those whys.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I think it's an ob 3 ambition-wise. This would be pretty this isn't easy.
Yeah, sure. Can I fork in read because we are reading?
Yeah.
Excellent. Am I getting any help from Mason here, or am I just doing this privately?
I'll chime in with research.
Is this an ugly truth?
Yeah, I think so. I think actually that's a really good one.
I'll take it. Cool. What does failure look like here?
So the failure to this step is, well, okay. I think what failure. So I think you're gonna misidentify the motivations.
Cool. Awesome. All right.
I think you're gonna woefully misstep it.
Let's roll it up.
Oh, but you succeed.
6.
Sweet.
Good job.
Nice. So what lies at the root of their agenda here?
Self-preservation is the number one thing. You can tell that they are afraid of whatever's coming for them at the end of this deal in 50 years.
So
what's motivating you're motivating the plan that they're whatever was gained by the Rogarvians in their time as leaders of Brevoy, they want to keep it. They want to keep it even though they know that they have to give it up and relinquish it at the end of this deal, right? Basically, you see that their deal was to conquer Brevoy, rule it for, I think I said 500 years, or 200 years, 300 years.
200.
And then something happened. Then their deals expires. And so they're desperately looking for, how do we weasel our way out of this deal? How do we maintain our power? And if we can't, how can we pretend to?
Mason,
right? Legacy. It's legacy. It's dynasty.
Yeah, absolutely. Mason, I've long suspected that the disappearance of the House of Rogarvia was connected in some way with what is to come in the form of the darkness that shall rise. I'm beginning to come up with a theory.
Likewise.
I believe that they were more involved than I had originally guessed, and I'm worried that they are not a victim, but a cause of what is to come.
If only. Mason. I think Mason takes a moment, like looks at Aurelius, and is just debating in their mind, like, do I tell him? Like I have stuff pertaining to this that, and he seems like so engrossed. It's like I should help my friend here, but they're also just kind of like clamping down on him and being like, no, I have the stuff that I know and that I really need to look into. And so I think they look at you and like they nod as if ruminating, and then they kind of like they keep poring back over the books, and they extract and like basically they hide from Aurelius as best they're able without being super overt about it. The hellish grimoire, because you said it was about securing the continuation of their legacy, stopping whatever was happening through like whatever deal they were making.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to do that through the children, and I have a fucking
no. I'm sorry. Like I think either I misspoke or that's not the right answer.
Okay.
If they're unable to find an answer, they have a contingency plan that refers to children. Yeah, that refers to children that are suitable.
And for that reason, I am taking out the Hellish Grimoire, and I am looking at the Rogarian family tree to see if I can like make sense of what that contingency plan is. Because I have their official family tree, right? I have the we are actually dragons and the Sotovans can go eat it family tree.
I definitely am gonna push on this here, and I like as I like see you kind of like nod and like turn to do something else, I'm gonna be like, what do you think of my theory? And then I like maybe notice you like trying to like, I'm like, what do you have there, Mason?
Yeah. So Mason, you realize, so you see that it's not a formalized tree, but there's certainly a list of all people that what's his name, Coral has slept with. Like he seems like they deliberately were trying to sire bastard children throughout.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's like this person
it was
begat
intentional.
that person. That
like they were
person
tracking it.
That
yeah,
person.
They're like tracking this, and whether or not there's certain like, you don't actually know what they're measuring here, but like you know that they're doing this intentionally.
I imagine
muted,
like
oh no, I'm not muted. I'm
you're
just mouthing words to see if people recognize what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm imagining
Kwisatz Haderach.
I'm imagining something along the lines
that's
of
kind of a way of thinking about it. Yeah, but it's very similar.
I'm imagining something along the lines of the tome that Eddard Stark reads in the first season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
but like whatever, black of hair, something, whatever, black of hair, something.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing, right? Like this person begat that person, and that like is ascribed to kind of significance.
Yeah, I think. Well, you know what? I think let's. I don't want to make any more rolls about this. I'm just gonna bring it out and make it clear. No, they're looking for magic. They're asking gifted or not gifted, right? Like potential.
Interesting.
And there's a freaking lot of people who are not gifted, and then there'll be like one that's like maybe. And
that
then
makes
like
sense because magic had already
not gifted,
at that point,
not
right?
gifted, nothing, maybe, right? Nothing, like just a handful, right, of these names.
So I want to be clear. What I just did there, I'm not going to let Mason not respond to me here.
All right, okay. Cool.
You are either going to have to lie to me, or you are going to have to tell me the truth of what you're doing.
Can it? Do you think Mason could potentially do so inconspicuously enough for you to kind of be like to kind of like let it go, so to speak? Like, could we? Is there a chance that they could be so innocuous?
Can you write soothing platitudes? That sounds like a versus test of persuade versus soothing platitudes.
Hold on. No. We're doing research together. I ask you a question about my theory, and you ignore it and turn your head to a private book.
Okay.
You are either going to have to lie to me, or you are going to have to say something.
So it actually sounds like you're at the soothing platitude Sulius, right? If you don't want to, you either can manipulate him and lie to him, deceive him, right? Because it sounds like he's forcing you to make an answer. So your answer is either tell the truth and like follow up with it, no die roll necessary. But if you don't want to tell them that stuff, then use the other things, right?
So I think what Mason will do is be I should actually just take the test. I should really take the test. I think I'm going to take the test. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm so what Mason does is I want to kind of deflect your attention. I want to say something like I want to tell you like I'm looking over something. Give me a moment. I will have more to say on your theory, Bill. I don't think you're wrong. It's just that I need to affirm something. And like, could you look over and like trying to deflect you and be like, go look over that thing over there while I do this thing that you're not supposed to pay attention to. And yeah, I will try and like deceive you. I will be like, no, go and do something different.
This is a whopper of a lie. Oh man.
Seriously.
All right.
I'm looking up falsehood obs right now.
It's against his. No, it's your will, right?
I don't think it is, but let me double check.
I'm quietly convinced it is.
Oh no, it is. But if it's like a whopper or a bad lie, it's +2 ob. So that's up to Eric to say. But
I feel like that's a whopper.
can I suggest
1 up plus 1 up.
Look like here. Well, it says +2, but it's up to you.
I know, but like I feel like it's like in the middle ground, so I feel like a +1,
sure.
right? That's a good point. I think it's up to you, Sam. Here, like, what happened? Do you know that he's lying to you?
I think I would like for failure to be that I'm like willing to go along with it for right now, but that inadvertently I find something that Mason wants by going over and doing that thing.
Okay, that's actually really good.
Oh,
yeah.
so
I
good.
love that. I love
Yes.
that, actually. That's really good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So that would be my will's 5 + 1 is 6.
Yeah, I'm going to fork persuasion. I'm going to fork inconspicuous. I'm going to fork secrets wise, and I'm going to fork astrology.
Do you have falsehood?
Yes.
Oh.
All those failed tests. Lying to Swan.
Yep. Well, strictly speaking, no, I'm not going to do that. I trained a lot for this. Okay, I didn't do a lot of falsehood tests. But yeah, okay. So here we go. Should I put Arthur to this?
Failure's pretty good though. Failure's really good here.
Failure is hella fun. What's
you
the
have almost no chance of succeeding even with.
What's the obstacle?
It's 6 if it's my will +1.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Whoop. Well,
Fading
let's just fade that.
3
I hope
6s.
these all fail.
No.
No, you're good.
All right, you're good.
Rushed.
So what was your intent? Was for me to just go do something else?
Yeah, like that. I'm basically manipulating you by not like directly lying to you, but I'm being like, I have something I need to look into, and then I'm kind of deflecting you towards like keep looking into different stuff while I do this, and drawing your attention away from the fact that I'm looking over this tome that I'm keeping hidden.
Okay.
Sure. All right. So then, right before we go to break, our first break, I think for you guys just going forward, through your research, I think if you want to find the control of this tower, it's not at the top. It's actually at the bottom. It's
interesting.
Below the tower is where you need to
that's awesome. All right, thank you for that.
Okay.
There's a man down there. His name's Hal.
Yeah.
He's excited to see you.
And this castle's going to get moving. So, all right. We're going to go to our first break, guys. We'll be back in 6 minutes. So see you on the other side.
All right, Mike.